Well, shalom, shalom, everyone. This is Yisrael. Hold on one moment. Let me get my co-host on the line. Shalom, Brother Donia. How are you today?
Well, let's see. I'm a senior citizen. You do the math.
Here we go, you guys. Oh, my goodness. Well, what's going on today?
They got Chesapeake
in the land
Island.
Of Trump.
Chesapeake Island. Chesapeake Island is almost underwater because of the sea rising and the erosion of the island there. It's getting ready to go underwater, and so they don't have a budget, so they don't have anything that they're gonna do for them. I guess emergency funds, but they expect it to vanish inside of 20 years, just regularly the rising of the sea. But they saying if they have a major storm, it'll happen sooner.
Why? Where is this at again now?
Chesapeake Bay. I think this off the coast of Virginia. I think. I'm not sure.
Wow. Chesapeake Bay. That's in Virginia, right?
I think it is. I'm not sure.
Wow. Say the sea level is rising, huh?
That's correct, man. They used to have a good-sized community, man, but the community done dwindled down to about 700 people.
Wow.
They lost a lot of stuff. They ships, the stuff that they had that was at sea, that's been swallowed up. You understand? Oh, it's getting ready to get to be a mess. But they don't have the United States don't have a budget plan as of yet. You understand? And if they don't hurry up, they're going to have to close down the government. Can't pay nobody.
Wow, look at that. It says survey, another good year for Chesapeake Bay underwater grasses. Wow.
Yep. I told you, United States going to be underwater. You understand?
Wow, that is serious business right there.
New York City, all the little coastal areas for sure is going to catch it because of because of the hand of the Almighty. All this is about the Almighty. You understand? These things happen because of the Creator, not because of that they could happen. This, that, and other. They would not happen if it wasn't for the Almighty. Almighty is making all of this stuff right down there in front of your face so you can see it. You understand? It's getting ready to get real ugly in a few minutes.
Wow, that's serious business right there. Wow.
And they were just talking about impeaching your boy there. You understand? They saying if they can prove, if it's been proven, this is a Republicans talking now, that he has messed with intervened in the investigation that they having for what's the name. If they can prove that he did that, you understand, that's grounds for impeachment.
Oh, with Comey? You mean with Comey? The investigation with Comey?
Yeah, the investigation that Comey is having, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, and a number of other agencies is investigating the collusion of Russia. You understand, and Trump. You understand, and there's a lot of stuff going on, sister. You understand?
I know.
They talking about Sessions. You understand? Didn't report a third meeting that he had with a Russian ambassador. You understand? And that's not a certainty, but he, former director Coney alluded to that when he had that personal investigation. Personal sit down with those people. You understand? After the public after he had that public hearing, you understand? They went and they had sat down, but he sat down with him so that they can privately speak to him about some things. And he alluded to Sessions having a third meeting with a Russian ambassador, you understand, that he did not mention when he sat down with the FBI, you understand. So there's a lot of stuff, man, going on. And if he lied, you understand, that's a lying to the federal agency. That's punishable by 5 years for sure.
Wow. Wow. Well, here we go. Here we go. Shalom. Hey, everybody, this is it. I mean, this is what we've been waiting for, and it's happening right before our eyes, and we just have to watch it happen. There's nothing else we can do about it. Did you see the caption for the show today? Did you read that at all?
No, I just got in the house and really.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yehudah Project, End Times Prophecy. How much time do we have? Well,
right,
we don't know.
There was a caption, episode information. This is an article that I found, and it says 2019 will mark 400 years of the Negroes in America. It says, here is an interesting fact that came to my attention. In regards to the American Negroes, the Atlantic slave trade started in 1619. 2019 will be exactly 400 years. Maybe Deuteronomy 28 is being fulfilled. It said Israelites would go into Egypt again, this time by ships. When Israel went into bondage the first time, it lasted 400 years, not 430. 30 years they lived peacefully in Egypt with prediction of an economic collapse. Could this be the end of the Negro captivity in a strange land? Many will view an economic collapse as a bad thing, but for the Negroes, who are the descendants of the slaves, who never were compensated for the work of their fathers and mothers, could this be a blessing in disguise to finally live? World events shape prophecy and migrations. For example, the Israelites first fled into Egypt because of famine. Could there be another exodus approaching? The shaping of America came from the death of natives and on the backs of the so-called Negroes. There is a judgment coming here for the treatment of God's children. Maybe a forced exodus is the only way we will leave because we are so conditioned to stay. The house Negro will never leave his master's house. If the house burns, they will go down with it. Martin Luther King stated he didn't know it. He was integrating his people into a burning house. Speaking of King, check the link that sounds like he's talking about Israel. This is an article that I found on Google. So everybody's talking about this now.
Yeah. There's going to be those that come back to the Almighty is the ones that's going to be saved out of it. You understand? The rest of us, like you said, the house nigga is not going nowhere. You understand? The house nigga think that they're just going to bounce back. You understand? We're under illusion of inclusion. You understand? We think that we've arrived. You understand? We're never going to arrive in America.
Everybody's paying attention now. Everybody's taking a look at it now. And they're coming to the conclusion that this is really what it is.
Yeah.
Cool.
That is right.
That is really something else to see that happening right before our eyes.
Yeah, I heard another brother say that this America is not the 400 years that's spoken of in Abraham. And Abraham, when he talked about Abraham, they said that in the fourth generation. Now, I say that we in captivity today. You understand?
Right.
We've been in captivity from 1619 up until this day right here. So I don't know when they, even though it might mention that in the scriptures. Now, he did bring scriptures to say, about the fourth generation, you understand, that we were going to go back into Canaan. This was after Abraham, when he spoke to Abraham. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know about that. You understand? I'm not sure that, you understand, maybe we misconstrue as to how that really means. Because, see, a lot of times the Almighty speaks in parables. You understand? He makes mention of certain things, but it's not necessarily meaning exactly that. So when you say the fourth generation, that might be one of the parables that he's talking about. You understand? But I know we're in captivity now, and we've been here 400 years. I mean, we've been here pretty near 400 years. You understand? So, you understand? I wouldn't base my understanding on that. I'm basing my understanding on where we at now. We in captivity now. We've been in captivity. We've been treated from the day one that we've been here. Some people say that we've been slaves for 240 years, but that from my estimation, you understand, when we first got here, 200 or 100 and some odd years before that 240 years that they're talking about, you understand, we were in captivity. We were brought here in captivity. We were treated like what do you say? We would be treated badly for 400 years. It didn't. We weren't in those first years when we first came here. We weren't treated. It was hell. It was total hell. You understand? For our brothers and sisters, our forefathers. You understand what I'm saying? You know. So that them years count from that particular time when we put our foot in this continent up until now is 397 years. You understand? We got about 2.5, maybe 24 months, you understand, left of our captivity. So when they talk about the fourth generation, I don't really understand what they mean by that. You know, it has to be explained to me much better than, you know, I mean, because we're in captivity now.
Yeah, we are. You know, people try to come up with all this off-the-wall stuff, and, you know, they just come up with...
Now, it does say that, you understand, about the fourth generation. You understand?
Right, but that has nothing to do with, well, I mean, everybody has their own interpretation of what that means. So, I mean, that's how he sees it. I can't say anything. But it says the third and fourth generation. Is that the Amorites? Because, remember, we talked about that, the fact that, but that's a whole other teaching. You know, but we're in this captivity right now. And if we're not, where are we at in the scriptures?
So what other 400 years? There ain't going to be no 400. I mean, the way I'm looking at it. Huh?
I said you're right. I said you're absolutely right. There is no more.
Yeah, well, you know, where I'm looking at it, man, you understand, the 400 years, and now it doesn't speak, it said that this might not be the 400 years, then when, you know, is there 400 years next, I mean, after this, you understand, I don't get that. You understand? I'm sure. You know, I'm sure that they can explain it and make me understand. They'll take you know, I don't know how to explain that. I really don't. You understand? I need some. You know, somebody needs to explain that to me because we in captivity now. You understand? Fourth generation. You understand? Third and fourth generation. Until the Amorites. Something about the Amorites. Being fulfilled and this and that and the other. Like I said, man, you know, I'm not sure about that. I really am not. But I know we're in captivity today.
Mm-hmm.
Been in here for 397 years.
That's right. I think so too. You know, but I mean, everybody. Go ahead.
Come sheet. No, come sheet.
No, I was just saying everybody has their own idea. You know, but I don't know.
Yeah, we have, you know, everybody got their interpretation. You understand? You know, what they understand to be true. You understand? But I'm just saying, boy, from what I'm looking at it, you understand, and we in captivity now. And it wasn't no thing where we came here and we was all right and we worked and they paid us and everything was hunky-dory. We was here from the day one. You understand? From the time that they captured us and brought us across Africa, you understand? and brought us into this land, put us on them ships, and we was in the bottom of those ships, man. You understand? And defecating on one of the women, having babies, and all of that kind of stuff. You understand? And we didn't get no relief. Period.
Right.
You understand? So whatever captivity we're gonna be in, if it's gonna be rougher than this, man, you might as well take me on off the count.
What you said? We got put up with any more. I'm done. I hear you, Brother Donald. This got to be it. I mean, I don't second guess it. I know what it is. You know, and for all these, guess what? And the ones who say we ain't in captivity and this the wilderness, they have more people following them. You know, it'd be a whole entourage of people following these folks around, and it's like, do you even read the scriptures?
Okay.
So I don't put too much credence in it. I don't even deal with it on that level. All I know is right now, at this moment, we all going through hell. Everybody's trying to manage in a bad situation. We're watching the country that we were born in this captivity fall apart. You know, everybody is sitting on the edge of their seat, hoping for something, whether it's going to be a change or whether it's going to be the end or whatever it's going to be. And it's really looking really rickety and shaking right now. It looked like, you know, a bottle that's on the edge of the table shaking, about to fall off. And everybody's sitting on the edge of their seat because if you know prophecy, you know, all the players are strategically in place for a lot of things to happen to fulfill prophecy.
That is correct. Absolutely. You understand? You know, I mean, how can you equate this with something else? Or how can you equate this with being in the wilderness? You understand? In the wilderness, we were alone. We were under our own governance. I mean, whether we know it or not, we stumbled around in the wilderness under our own governance. You understand? Here we are in captivity, being governed by somebody else. You understand? We still can't say we still ain't governing ourselves. Somebody else is pulling the strings. You understand? You know, so you know, and the Almighty said He was going to bring us from one place into another place. You understand?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you know, everybody is feeling that anxiety. You don't know what to think. You don't know which way it's going. You don't know how it's going to end up. You don't know how He's going to get us or what time He's going to get us. And everybody is feeling the anxiety. Believe me, everybody is. But guess what we have to do? These are the times that we have to trust the Almighty. We have to trust God. You have no choice. You keep doing what you're doing. You still go to work every day. You still make life as comfortable as you can in this captivity. You still make your life and the people around you as comfortable as you can, and you live your life every day like you normally would. And because He has strategically placed certain people in place to make this thing happen, and even though He has not given us the playbook, believe me, those people who are designated to set up our exit strategy, He knows when to wake them up if He hasn't already awakened them, and they know what they have to do. So everybody has a part to play, and it's just like being in a corporation. It's like this. When you work in the loading dock of a corporation, you don't know what's going on in marketing. And when you're working in marketing, you don't know what's going on in the legal department. All of the departments are intricately separate in the way they run, but everybody is running together for the same cause of the machine moving toward the corporation keep going. And that's how it's, and that's how y'all runs his as well. Everybody has a part to play. You may not know the next guy's part, but he's playing his part. That's why you have to trust y'all.
That's correct. You know, I know. You know, we in the dark. We blindly trusting in the Almighty Yah. But we put our trust in these folks right here, and this is where we at.
That's true.
You understand? You know. So we need to take our destiny and put it in the hands of the Almighty, somebody that we at least have some faith in. You understand? Because we didn't put our faith in all of these things, this whole society, and guess where we at? Still in captivity.
That is very, very true. And like I said, we don't know. We didn't get the memo about the exit strategy.
Oh.
He didn't tell us that.
You understand? Until you understand, it's time to get ourselves up out of here. You understand? The reason I say that is because, like anything else, we black folk, we Hebrew Israelites. You understand? We mess up everything that we put our hand into. You understand? So imagine he give you the playbook, me the playbook, or whomsoever that he think that's going to run the show. You understand? He did that already, man. You see what happened? David, Solomon, and all the kings messed us over. We had our opportunity. You understand? I was telling the brother today. You understand that we had our opportunity. Now the Almighty said He gonna make this thing work. You understand? He gonna make us do what we need to do for ourselves. You understand? That's the problem here. The laws and statutes and commandments, you understand, they were set aside so that we would live and not die. We decided we didn't want to do that.
That's right. Absolutely. So, those are the things that we have to keep into consideration. And the closer it gets, the harder it gets, and we know that. We just have to keep doing what it is that we're doing so that we can be in right standings, because He gave us one commandment, and that was to gather ourselves.
That's
what He
amazing.
gave was a commandment to gather ourselves, and that's what we're doing. We're doing what He told us to do. And for us to try to step over into something else and do something else, that's not gonna work.
Not at all. Not at all. You understand? We need to stay in our own lane.
That's true. So we just have to wait on Him. There's nothing we can do.
And we can't overthink this thing neither. You understand what I'm saying? Because a lot of our brothers and sisters want to think it's more to it than that. It's not more to it than that. It's a plain, simple thing. There's not nothing that we have to reach out and go over the sky. Over a mountain. You understand, or way up in the sky, or under the sea. It's right before our eyes. He said, "Gather yourself, O children not desired." You understand? O nation not desired. And you understand? Before the great judgment of the Almighty.
Almighty, that's right. That's all we can do.
And hide yourself out. He said, I think he talks about hiding us out at that particular time. You understand? And so that when the judgment comes, you understand? And I heard another brother, you understand? He was talking about. He said that we don't have to go nowhere, man, because the Almighty said He was going to send fishers and hunters to get us out of the hiding places that we were in, and bring us back into the land. So it's going to be a difficult time for us, man, because we're going to have to be trying to find places to hide. You understand? We might hide over here for a little while. You understand what I'm saying? And keep it moving. You understand what I'm saying? Until the Almighty sends them fishers and hunters to bring us back into the wilderness. That's it's going to be. I don't know the formula. You understand? But I know we're going. Every place going to be touched. I think Sister Malcolm made a point. You understand when she said everybody going to be. It's going to be tore up, man. It's not going. Everybody going to be Israel. Everybody, Jerusalem. All of those places going to be hit with this great destruction. We got to remember the people that brought us over here captive. Who were they? Those were those so-called imposter Jews that brought us over here and spread us throughout the four corners of the earth. You understand? Those were the people. They the ones that chained, whipped, beaten, maimed, and murdered us. But we got brothers and sisters, you understand, all that want to be all close up. I was looking on YouTube, and they had a big festival in Jerusalem, in Dimona, just here recently. You understand? And they had a white Jew there. It reminded me of the time when they was teaching we was teaching. We had Christian services, and they had a white guy sitting in the audience or sitting up there in the pulpit or whatever they call it. You understand? To make sure that they taught us right. So they had a Jewish guy sitting there amongst the brothers there. You understand? Make sure that they taught it right. You understand? You know, you understand? We so and the festival. He was the only white guy that I've seen in the whole. No, I did see some other white folks. You understand? But they were not dressed in culture. They was just dressed, America in other kind of garb. But understand? Those are the same people that brought us over here captive. Those are the same people that went to Ethiopia and brought them people over there. You understand? And taught them the Talmud, and now they in the army. You understand? And they got 5,000 of them in a compound on in the desert. You understand? And how do I know that? Is because they had some people from Jerusalem come and bring them water and some extra stuff, clothing and stuff like that. You understand? But they in the desert. You understand?
Right.
And they got our brothers and sisters still wanting to be they all right. They our brothers and sisters. They not our brothers and sisters at all. Period. You understand?
Well.
Same people. Pain, whipped, beaten, maimed, and murdered us.
Well, Brother Donnie, when you're in that kind of position, and this is hard to swallow, but when you find yourself in your own land, and Abraham was like that. He was a stranger in the land that the Most High gave him. And they are in their own land and watching the land be occupied by imposters, and they have to do what they tell them to do because they are still under the curse. It doesn't matter what location you are at. You're still under the same curse because if you weren't, you'd have the power to make some things happen. So the fact that they're over there, that's a choice that they made to be over there, and unfortunately somebody else is in control of that land, and they have to succumb to that authority. It's no different than us being over here and somebody supervising and making sure we do or we don't get out of hand because they do. They do it to us too.
Yeah, that's the point that I'm trying to make. You understand? They made the decision to go over there to Jerusalem, leave a place where they already in captivity. We already in captivity, you understand? But we had a job, we had houses, you understand? We had cars, you understand? And they sold them things, went and to move to Jerusalem, to be under the same thumb of somebody else.
Because somebody told them that's what Yah told them to do. And they went following somebody who said that's what Yah told them to do. Said they've been there, and it's a beautiful thing that they are there, but they still under somebody else's governance. It just is. There's no other way to do that.
That's correct. A brother told me, I tried to explain that to him. He said when we went, when we left Babylon, and we went back into the land, other people there, you understand? But guess what? We got thrown out of there 7 years. Why? Because we brought Babylon stuff with them, and then we was under the governance of the Edomite because that's who ran Jerusalem and that region at that particular time.
That's true.
But just because somebody was there.
We can't do nothing about them because they're in a very interesting position. They're in a very interesting situation. All we can do is really begin to gather ourselves over here because we're not in that land. We're nowhere near going to that land. And when it comes to those where the scriptures say, I'm going to send hunters and fishers for you, I believe, and from my studies, I believe those are the people who don't leave the first time. I don't believe we're going to have to duck and hide and go nowhere. I believe those are the people who don't leave the first time. And then because I think coming into the wilderness, they're going to come in waves. Because it's not going to be a very pretty sight to be here. It's going to look like it's going to be okay for those to remain. But once the bottom falls out of everything, it's not going to be a pretty sight.
Yeah, well, like anything else, man, you understand, we can only speculate.
That's true.
You understand? Because we don't know nothing, you understand? Because I honestly believe that the Almighty's not going to give it to us because we gave it to us one time, you understand, and we just botched it all up, you understand? David, but that was the Almighty. He knew that how stiff-necked we are and gullible we were, you understand, that he knew when he told Abraham that we were going to go into captivity for 400 years, you understand? So all of those little things that happened in between, you understand, how we lost our culture, our language, you understand, and the laws, and we stopped doing the laws, you understand, those had to happen to get to that 400-year period, because when we came into this captivity period, we didn't know who we were or what our language was, or you understand. He said that the language that we was going to speak, I mean that our captors spoke, our forefathers didn't know. You understand? Nor did he know the people even.
Right.
These things
right.
happen. Huh?
I said that's right. I understand. I'm just listening. I said you're right.
So those things happen. Go ahead.
I just said I wanted to address something else because there's a big thing going around now about September the 23rd, 2017. Now, I want to address that because a lot of people don't know anything about that, but there's supposed to be these great signs in heaven that's happening on December the 21st of 2017. And let me say something to you all who all are listening under the sound of our voice. The scripture says no man knows the day nor the hour.
That's correct.
No man knows the day or the hour. And every time we come into a new year, these people start, especially the Gentiles, they start strategizing and putting dates together. And those dates come and those dates go. And some people are foolish enough to just sell all their stuff after these people and get rid of all their stuff after these people and run for what these people tell them to do. And this stuff comes and goes. Nobody knows the day nor the hour, and nothing is going to happen for us until our captivity is over.
That is absolutely correct. I was going to make mention of that per se, you understand, because, you understand, the Almighty gave us a captivity period, a point. He said, for 400 years, to the date, from day one to 400 years. On that 400th date, our captivity has ended. You understand? Now, what happened? You made mention of this too. What happens after that? We don't know, but we know that our captivity will be ended. And I'm not sure, but you understand? I'm under the illusion that we will all recognize that 400-year period, that 400-year ending. You understand? It'll be made known. You understand? That's what I think.
Because people are so gullible. They're waiting for something. They want something to happen, and they go on YouTube, and these people give all these crazy dates, and they give all these crazy philosophies. But one thing about Israel has to know one thing, that we are governed by a captivity. And he told us 400 years. 400 years. And when that 400 years is up, he set the thing in motion. He said, after 400 years, you're going to see the destruction, and then you're going to come out with great substance. So there's a lot of things that have to happen beforehand, and don't believe these people on YouTube giving dates, because no man knows the day nor the hour.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly.
And I just want to make sure that everybody knows. You can have some more. I want to make sure that everybody knows, that this is not where it needs to be, where we need to be at. Because some people, I believe even some of the people that be on our call, it's coming soon. I just want to believe that it's coming soon. But we don't know when it's going to come. When the Bible said no man knows the day nor the hour. Nobody does.
Well, one thing that I figure this here is that, we need to stop from my perspective here, you understand? I'm only speculating. Is that you can't, I don't want us to say, oh, I can't wait and this and that and the other. Man, we need to get our lives in order so that when it happens, it won't be such a total disaster to your whole family and everybody. You understand? Let it happen. You understand? Just prepare yourself for it. You understand? Rather than, oh, it's going to happen this day, and if it's going to happen in that day, I hope that we're prepared. That's all I say. You understand? I'm talking about mind, soul, and morals. We have to have all of that stuff and make ourselves prepared for these things, because you understand, you gotta have some water put aside, because it's not. My perception here is that the 400-year prophecy, you understand, coincides with the judgment of these peoples. That's my thing. So when he say he's gonna judge us, and after that he gonna bring us out, you understand? That's, to me, that they both running in conjunction with one another. That's just my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
it's a lot going on, Brother Donia, everywhere. It's a lot going on. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Let's get ready to get real. This is going to be funky.
Yep, I agree with you. There's a pastor here. I want you guys to hear something real quick.
Eschatology is the study of the end, the last days. Amen. And we were taught some things that I think were erroneous or wrong. And stay with me as I begin to develop this. Amen. Thank you, son. Come on, I'm ready to go. Hallelujah. Are y'all at 1 Thessalonians? Because somebody wrote me about it. I done taught on this before. I didn't teach on this, but I said something about it. They had asked me about, somebody wrote and asked me about the rapture. And I taught a whole message on it, and I don't understand. Maybe they didn't look at the message, but I want to give you biblical understanding. Amen. Say biblical understanding. Before you study the Bible, you must understand that if prophecy is revealed based upon who the people of God is, prophecy is written to the people of God. Are y'all there? Prophecy is written to the people. So if you don't know who the people are, then you will not understand. That's why a lot of the prophetic verses in Isaiah and Jeremiah, Zachariah, Amos, Joel, they don't make sense, because a lot of the prophetic words are about the day of the Lord and the last days. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And so because of the hoax, and I've proven it before, this is really it's without even question now. You don't even have to, so many people have proven, and now America is starting to wake up to this. White folks, Europeans, they're waking up to this, and this is why you got so much racism, because they're realizing that the people that parallel the book of Exodus are actually in this land still. Also, the reason why you see so much poverty and famine and dysfunction, even in Africa, especially Western Southern Africa, not West Southern, but West and South Africa, is because the tribes are there too. They've been there. This is the Fulani tribe. These people have been there. Limbas, these are there. These are the children of Israel. I don't have to debate. Just go online and look it up. It's there. You must understand the reason why we have no knowledge is because we were taught by our oppressors. The Africans were taught religion by the colonials too, by the Dutch and the French and the British, and they all came in. Now, you got to realize the Dutch, the French, the British, Spain, Germany, these European nations are all the people that Amos is talking about, that the Most High is coming back to judge in the day of the Lord. Did y'all hear what I said? The people that taught you the Bible, they taught it from a standpoint of never revealing who we were and who they really were. And so that's why there's so much migration and shifting of people to hide who is who. You got what I'm saying? Now, because of the this is the end times. The Bible says in Daniel, knowledge shall be revealed. That means, shut up the books to the end. So now this knowledge is being revealed. We're starting to understand. Are you there? And so now there is a panic. There is a panic. The European, if you just look at the news, you'll see it. They are in panic mode. They are in panic mode because their judgment is the end of their empire. It's the end of their reign. Did y'all hear what I said? I don't know if y'all want to hear that or not. It's the end. It's coming to an end. In America, judgment is on the European here. You don't want to believe me. I'll prove it. Overdoses has bypassed homicide. Overdoses on opiates, heroin, and prescription drugs. This is the first, last year was the first year that overdoses, there was more death by overdoses than homicide. You do not see black people in cars, passed out or OD. You do not see that. It's not in our community. We got ours. We with the crack. They got us. If you study Oliver North and Ronald Reagan and the Contra scandal and Rick Ross, the real one, not the fat one that was the police, but the real Rick Ross, Freeway Rick Ross from L.A., you would find out that they placed crack cocaine in the black community to fund the Contras and to also boost the prison industrialist complex. Meaning that in order to get us back to slavery, which is what I'm trying to tell y'all what's going on, you cannot be a slave in this country unless you are convicted of a crime. Prisoners, that's the 13th Amendment. Prisoners have no rights. So that's the reason why the prison industrialist complex, the goal is to have our young men go from school to prison. Are you understanding what I'm saying? This is why all the music is geared towards all the music. I don't have time to go into that, but you can study it yourself. Are y'all there? Now, the direct judgment or the reaping of what was sown has come back, and you know you always get more back than you sold. What they sold in our community, and that decimated us. We still are trying to recover from the crack thing that hit America. It touched everybody. If you wasn't selling it, somebody in your family was owning it, somebody went to prison for it, and that was the first time that black women got locked up in mass. Not only was the black fathers gone out of the home, but then they started locking up the black women. So we had crack babies, and come on, talk back to me. So, listen, and I know y'all don't understand this, but by the grace of the Most High, the same way I have a spiritual son in Nigeria, and I was talking to him about Ebola when remember that big Ebola outbreak, and he told me, he said, man of God, he said, and I was calling him, I said, what's going on, bro? You know, how bad is that? He said it was bad. He said, but he said they put it in our community. He said it was in the vaccine. He said what we began to do was pray. He said we prayed and bound that spirit and broke it, and it stopped because they've been testing stuff out on us for a long time. What I'm trying to say is the Most High always fights. The reason why they didn't kill us in this country, they tried to kill us, they couldn't kill us, is because God's hand is on us. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Yep. Are y'all there? Now, So let me get. I had a point before that. What was the point? What did I say before that? Right, the heroin epidemic. If you go on YouTube and you look at some of the documentaries, you will realize how the media is downplaying it. They are even decriminalizing it, and they're also decriminalizing the crimes that they commit while they're on heroin. Now, when it was crack, they over-criminalized it. The whole news was about crack babies, and that was a lie, because those kids did not come out addicted to cocaine like heroin when they do come out. See, what they do to Israel and Judah, and this is it's this reason why the judgment is coming in. If you look at Africa, if I don't have time, Lord, give me some time. The problem is these brothers that's preaching this Hebrew Israelite with the chart of the 12 tribes is a lie. They adding in Mexicans and Cubans. No. Just because you got melanin don't make you that. The 10 tribes are still in Africa. They're still in Africa. And I'm gonna do a teaching on it to show you where they are, because when we were in Africa, we were living next to the Ashanti, which all these people was in Negro land. Then you go down Cameroon, on down to South Africa. This is why these places were so oppressed and still oppressed. Is because some of the Africans are Hamites, meaning they are not Shemitic. The Shem line bloodline is the bloodline of the Hebrews. Are y'all there? Now I'm not going to go too deep into that today. I just want to spark you to study a little bit, because I want to show you that the Bible was taught to us wrong. When I was in Ghana, I mean not Ghana but Uganda. Me and my wife was in Uganda, because I want to show y'all this is all over the world. In especially in black areas. We was over there with a bishop friend of ours, and we was talking to him, and me and my wife was saying, like, y'all got millions of people. That was the most populated place I've ever seen. Millions of people walking around, and we rolled past big plantation of bananas, and I'm like, who own that? He's like, see, white people own that. And then I said, well, okay. Well, the rubber. Remember I told you about the rubber factory? They own that too. Now this bishop had about 200-300 acres of land, and he had a school on it. But it was the most impoverished thing you want to see. Now, because I come from a capitalist nation, capitalized, I immediately saw ability here. I saw some potential. So I said, you got these kids wasn't little; they was like teenagers. I said, you got at least 50 to 100 of them. I said, and you got 400 acres. And I said, stop begging preachers for money to run their school. I said, ask them if they're going to give you something to go down to the city and buy you a tractor. Turn this land over, and you will corner the market, because none of y'all thinking this way. Y'all got the land, but you're importing food. And but you know what he told me? He said, well, really, we are praying that the Indians will come back, the ones from India, because they're so good at business that we want them to come back. This is the colonial, this is how the colonial powers conditioned blacks all over the world. Talk back to me. Now, how did they do that? Well, if you go anywhere there, you'll find Catholicism. You'll find the white Jesus all over the place. You'll find y'all want to know. You'll find Pentecostal, Church of God in Christ, Assemblies of God, Lutheran, Presbyterian, Methodist, AME, all these, you'll find it all there. Because colonialism dominated by religion. So what they would do, they would come in the land and call you a savage. and then they would tame you by making you dress like them and giving you their religion. Now, the problem is that they taught you their religion from a white supremacist standpoint. Is this, y'all gonna go with me? Y'all gonna let me break this down and now? I'm trying to help you. Because what happened there happened here. That's what happened here. If you would have saw, notice The Birth of a Nation didn't come out on DVD or didn't come out on Netflix. To think about that. They were so afraid of that movie, they killed it. They killed it. And got the feminists to fight against it. Talk about the brother had a rape case. He beat the case, was not guilty. And then they going to hate on the brother. Anyway, that's a whole nother teacher. Now, what was I saying before that? Now, the colonial powers, which is Dutch, British, French, Germany, notice how they talk about the poverty, but they won't take their hand off Africa. They won't let it go because they know that's where all of the resources are coming from. They literally got an IV in their arm, and the other part is going into Africa, feeding all the nations of the world. It's the richest nation. Actually, even the map. I showed y'all the map is wrong. Africa's the biggest place in the world. If I said they got Africa looking this big, I wish I had the map. It's the biggest. But they do. This is all conditioning. Come on, this all conditioning. Now, because they taught us the book, there's nothing wrong with the book. What was wrong with is the interpretation. There's nothing wrong with the scriptures. The scriptures are right. You can find the Most High. You can find Christ in these scriptures. The problem was the interpretation. They stayed away from genealogy. They stayed away from really geography. They stayed away from historical proof, and they made the Bible more about metaphors, good sayings. Come on, talk to me. The moral of the story is, that's what the Bible has become, and that's what the preaching is. That's what our black preachers learned to teach our people. They got it from white seminaries and white preachers that told them, preach this. Are y'all there or not there? So that's why did y'all see that thing where the governor come down to the West End? No. I was with the governor. He was right. How are preachers going to get offended at praying? That's what the business we in.
All right, y'all. So what do you think about that? Now, that's the black church, and these black churches are beginning to wake up. They're beginning to wake up. They're beginning to say, we the Israelites. This thing is getting bigger than we thought it was going to get. And they're beginning to talk about the same things that we're talking about. Brother Donnie, what you say about all that?
And he said some things that very, 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 very true. And I have to commend him, you understand? And you are absolutely right. They are waking up, you understand? And that just goes to show you, you understand, that the Almighty is working, is moving in our nation, you understand? Because everybody, you understand, see, when he tells us that, a lot of our brothers and sisters are still going to be on the fence, you understand, and think there's a gray area, but there is no gray area, and he's telling us, he's telling it factual, you understand. He's bringing some very, very valid points, you understand. But it's all dependent upon. It's an individual endeavor that we up against right now, you understand. Because if you turn from the wicked ways and seek the Almighty, the things that he's saying, you understand, you'll be able to accept it and understand it. But it's only going to be a third of our population that's coming back, for sure.
For sure. You just watch the explosion of it all. We went to Farrakhan last time, and we played Farrakhan last time. Now these are the black Christian pastors now. This is not as far-fetched as we had it. I'm going to give you a few more minutes, and I want you to hear what he said, and then we're going to talk about it. Here we go.
Oh, the Arabs. So the Arabs knew. See, the problem with America is they use movies to teach history. And so you remember Roots? Remember in Roots, they said in Roots that our true religion was Islam. Yeah, if you study Roots. They said our true. Now, this was a movie. Now, remember the Ten Commandments. They conditioned us to not believe or have an inkling who we were. Come on, talk back to me. Now, so the conspiracy of nations was to, remember I said in 70 A.D., Rome, Edom, went into Jerusalem. And the goal of Edom or Rome was to completely kill every Hebrew they found. Now, they killed a lot of, there was a slaughter, they killed a lot of Hebrews. Dashed their babies' heads against the wall. They did a lot in Rome. They did some dirty stuff. But a lot of Hebrews did what they do. They went into, where they really couldn't go into because they was in Africa. The Middle East is Africa. But they went into Africa, running from the Romans, going down into West and Southern Africa. And so now these nations came together. Are you there? I got to think of the Pope's name that started this. He was it was a king from Spain. No, it was a Pope from Spain that gave a bull. It's a bull, when they give a law, they write a law. They wrote a law and said that anybody from the sub-Sahara and down, they wrote a law that you could enslave them. That's what they wrote a law about. So that's how the Portuguese, which was the original first slave traders, came and went, and that's why they never enslaved those northern Africans. They came down to where they knew a place was called Negro land. Now, I ain't going too deep into that. Is this too much? Now, so after this decree made by the Pope in Spain, this is when the nations came together and conspired and said, let us wipe this Israel, Judah, off the map from ever being a nation, that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. This is verse 5, for they have consulted together in one consent. They are confederate against thee. Who was the tabernacles of Edom? Edom is Rome. Edom is Esau. Edom is Rome. The Ishmaelites, these are the Arabs, Moab, these are Muslims. Y'all there? So look at all the nations that came together. This is a lot of nations that came together. Y'all there? Because the goal was to totally erase. Now, why did they not just wipe them out? You know how people have been wiped out through genocide, totally extinct? Because they knew through trying they couldn't wipe out the whole people of Israel. So they came up with a plan to enslave them. Now, remember the Bible says that they removed them far from their land. Now, they brought us here to America, and immediately they Catholicized you. There was a priest that was standing there on the middle, in the point of no return, on the Ivory Coast and in some of them coastal cities where they was taking slaves out of, that would do the priest thing over you. Will give you make you take the Eucharist. I don't know what it is, but whatever the priest be doing to what they call Christianize you. Are you there? Then when you got here, they would change your name. Now the ship's slave log had your real name.
Look at God.
And most of the names ended in Yah.
Wow.
Y'all got what come on, talk back to me. So when they came here, they changed your name from Elisha to Toby, or they changed your name from Sarah, Yah, to Mary. They changed your name. Are you there? Why? Because the Confederacy of Nations was, we got to hide them, remove them, so Israel never be named again. So how do you do that? Well, I can't kill them because the Most High was protecting them. But what I will do, I'll make them. Now, we in America, the blacks in America, are the only people that don't know where they come from. We get more press, we in front of the camera more, we the most talented, but we have no idea where we come from. We don't even know why we so gifted. Now, the tribe of Judah, where the slave trade was, where the slave coast was in southwestern Africa, where the kingdom of Judah was, is where the slave coast was. The Bible said Judah was scattered to the four corners of the world. Are you there? So Judah was the praise. Judah is the praise. We are the praisers. That's why the fake Jews, the Ashkenazi fake Jews, market us. They follow us, they hear us, they market us. We don't own none of the music. We don't make none of the videos. They put us in front of the camera, we perform, they give us a check, steal our money before we die.
All right, y'all. Now, look, this is the Christian church. Brother Donial, this is the Christian church that's teaching history for their people. Now, it's just, you got to give y'all some praise. Because in it all, even though they haven't come out of there yet, they are finding out who they are. This thing is spreading faster than we could ever begin to imagine.
That's the way it is.
And the brother was on point with the history.
Not always. He needs to investigate some stuff, but you understand. But for the most part, he got a lot of it right, because the Arabs was the ones that changed us into. They converted us into Islam. You understand? When they had us captive. You understand? And they the ones that sold us to the Portuguese. But that needs more investigation. But that's minor. You understand? At least they're getting some understanding there, and I appreciate everything that he's saying, because without his eyes has been opened.
Yes,
and he's beginning to understand and wake up. You understand? And he's trying to bring it to them folks. You understand? His congregation, which is great.
Yes, I mean, when you see those and they're waking up, to the fact of who they are, they just need, we don't want to, like I said, we don't want to step on anybody's toes, whether it be Farrakhan, whether it is the Christian pastors or whatever. But the point of it is knowing this, you have to come out of it, but I guess that'll be a process too. If he continues to evolve and he continues to wake up. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to come out of it, because I have another pastor here who is telling his congregation that they need to start keeping the Sabbath.
Okay.
Black congregation. He said he told his congregation that they need to keep the Sabbath.
Yeah, that's all of that is good. You understand? Because we gotta understand. We gotta be woken up. You understand? And he's woken up, and he's been able to teach his congregation who they are and what it's all about. They give them an opportunity to make a conscious decision. Because if you don't see, you can't go continuously be asleep in these days and hours. And I think he's the one who said that he mentioned that in the latter days, knowledge will be increased. And this is what's happening now. The knowledge is being put out there. You understand? So you can make a conscious decision. You understand? You can't just, I said this a while back, is that we must read the whole book. You got to start from the beginning. Genesis to Revelations, if you want to go that far, but Genesis for sure, because you got to know who you are and what the story entails and what it's all about. You understand? Because the whole book there is about our being restored back into our who we are. You understand? And so
that's right.
These things have to be known so that you can make a conscious decision. You understand? And be a part of that 144,000 that's going to be returned back unto the Almighty. Now, I don't know that. When I say 144,000, I'm just throwing out a figure. You understand? But the remnant, you understand? If you want to be a part of the remnant, then you gotta know who you are, what this all about, what this story means. You understand? You know, because like he said in the beginning, we've been taught wrong. You understand? They gave us their perspective, under European understanding. You understand? And because we were out of our land, and we lost our culture and our language and everything. So when they brought it to us, we accepted it, you understand, as being factual because we are spiritual peoples, you understand? And being a spiritual people, we have that spiritual connection to the Almighty Yah. And so when us not knowing who we are and our culture, you understand, when somebody talks about the true and living Elohim, you understand, and they bringing it from their perspective. They talking about Christianity, you understand. They thinking it's all spiritual, and they gravitate towards that, you understand. So I think he's doing a magnificent job. You know, some things need to be more investigated, but you understand, as he evolves, I'm sure that he'll teach it, you understand, and get better with what he understands to be true. And he did a good job, I think.
All right, check this out. Here we go.
Now I got a question. What are you black people doing keeping Sunday?
Come on. All right. Come on.
That's not your day.
All right, then.
Sunday is a European fabrication.
Amen. Come on. All right.
Of the European, by the European, and for the European.
Yeah. All right.
You didn't know that? I just told you. Sixtus was a European. He introduced Sunday. Victor, a European. He pushed it high. Constantine, a European. Italian. He made it law. The Council of Laodicea, not an African there. European Council. Council of Trent, not an African there. Black folk, what you doing keeping Sunday?
Yeah.
That ain't your day.
All right. Come on. All right.
You're the man that kept the Sabbath and preserved it so that I could get it.
Yeah.
Come home.
Come on. Come on home. Come on. Come on.
And black folk treat Sunday like it's theirs.
Mercy. Mercy, God.
Not realizing how they got it. The Europeans changed the day and then came here. They brought Sunday with them. Then they sent a boat over there and got y'all.
Yeah.
And y'all came here.
Yeah.
White man came on boat, brought Sunday on boat. Brought black man on boat. Everybody in same boat. White man made slave of black man.
Yeah.
Let him rest a half a day Sunday. He was so glad for that little rest, he began to associate that rest with Sunday. Pretty soon he started singing, ain't it a shame to work on Sunday? Ain't it a shame? You know us. We got a song for everything. Now you got a song for the wrong day.
Right. Right.
Some Negro got overly happy and come talking about every day will be Sunday. By and back. I said, you lying. You singing a lie. Every day ain't going to be no Sunday. Our ancestors preserved the Sabbath.
Amen.
Sabbath. Shabbaton. Sabbaton, Saturday, seventh day, the day that was hung into creation, last day of the week. Come home, black folks. Come home. Okay, now we can close.
All right, Brother Donnie, out there you have it. Straight from the pulpit. I mean, how long have we been saying it? Sometimes you got to let some other folks say it and people will get it. That's our Sabbath day. When you start keeping it, you will understand the blessing that you get from keeping it. And when you start keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments, the Most High will protect you, and he will keep you from all harm.
That is absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. And like you mentioned, you understand, things are being revealed and people's eyes are being opened. You understand? And he mentioned the Sabbath day. You understand? But you understand, I'm sure that he's going to evolve into a whole lot of things about the eating habits. You understand?
That's right.
He didn't mention it, you understand, but those are part of us being healthy and wealthy and wise.
Hallelujah. All of those things. Very much so. These are the things that is happening to us as a people, and you got to give it to Yah, because whether it be Muslims, whether it be Christians, whether it be Buddhism, wherever Judah is, wherever Israel is, Yah is waking up his people. He's waking them up. And guess what? You're going to have a choice wherever you are. Once you wake up and if you get the proper teaching, you're going to come to the conclusion that you have to come out, because we're a nation. We're not a religion. We're not a religion. And that's when we always tell people, we got the religion from the European. We're not a religion.
Not at all. Not at all.
And people are beginning to wake up to the fact. And guess what? Not only black folks, I have heard white people. Last week while I was at work, I was listening to a YouTube clip, and they were doing some teaching about something. And it was one of their radio shows, and the man said out in the open, he said, me and my wife have denounced all of the pagan worship, and we keep the Sabbath. We don't do none of them holidays no more. We don't do none of that stuff. We have denounced it. I was like, whoa.
Well, like the Almighty had said, you understand, that there was going to be witnesses. And see, those guys have to be the witness to let the future generations know that our Elohim is the true and living Elohim, the God that created everything. They have to know. They have to be there to teach. They may be one of the saviors that the Almighty saved. You understand? And be able to bring up their offerings to the temple, but they can't bring their offerings in the temple, but they'll be able to bring their offerings to the temple. You understand? Because of their understandings. See, it's all about, like I said, man, it's an individual thing. You understand? If they do it, then somebody else will see them doing it, and see, they'll see the prosperity that the Almighty gives them. Once you start doing this law, man, there's a certain glow that you're going to get.
That's right.
People are going to gravitate towards you whether you like them or not.
That's true. That's true, Brother Donnie. It happens to me all the time. All nations. It don't matter who they are. It's like, wow. It's a blessing. It really is. That's why I said, Yah, one thing about his word will not come back void. And like I said, we're a tiny piece of the puzzle. And when you start to see how much this thing is starting to spread, whatever religion they're in, they have to wake up wherever they are. And like I said, we understand that they're going to be in all of the religions, but we have to understand that this is a theocratic government, which means that we have an Elohim that rules us, and the laws that he gave us we keep. We're not a religion. We just live and we observe the laws, statutes, and the commandments. And we worship him, yes, we do, but we worship him by keeping those laws, statutes, and those commandments. You know, and when they understand that they have to come out of the religion that was given to us by the European, and then they can divorce themselves from those things and not feel guilty about it, because I felt guilty for a long time. I felt like I was missing something, you know, because you have the music and you have the camaraderie, and you know you have the organization and everything, and you have relationships that you built over the years, you know, and to walk away from it. You feel like you're missing something, but once I kept on studying and I understood what was happening, you know, I started to feel better about it because I knew it was the right thing to do. And that is why we have set up the nation of Yehudah the way we have, so that those times that you feel like that, we try to have something going on at least 3 to 4 times a week, where that there's not a lax time where you just can't talk to anybody. And you can call in, or whether it's teaching or whether it's the radio show or whether you just need to talk, we have that available because we understand what it feels like when you first wake up.
Yeah. It's not, you know, it's not hard. It's not a hard thing either. You understand? The Almighty didn't make it so it's difficult. You understand? It starts falling in place once you start reading and understanding, and being and somebody explaining this to you as you go along. You understand? It becomes more and more apparent as to what the story is all about and who we are. You understand what I'm saying? We're not a religion; it's a way of life. You understand? Yeah. It says if you do these laws and keep them, you will live and not die. That means that they have a dietary laws, a moral laws, you understand? And I'm sure the sister there, she could tell you the rest, you know, the rest of the laws that we must follow. And it's simple and it's plain. It's not hard at all. You understand? You know, when you see a brother or sister that's in bad shape, you understand, or in some kind of situation, and you know, most of the time, you understand, we can lend a hand, you understand, and we ain't got to be all lovey-dovey, you understand? It's just a moral fact that you need to help your brother and sister. Not because he can help you back, you understand? It's just that's the way we supposed to be able to live, you understand? That we help one another, you understand? And he pay it forward, you understand? Help somebody else, you understand? So it's a way of life that we're about, not no religion, you understand? Religion, if you look at that religion, you understand, it doesn't give you laws like the Almighty has given you, has given us, you understand? You know, it gives you what we can eat, you understand, and tells us how we supposed to bring our offering up and what it represents. They got meal offerings, they got sin offerings, you understand? We got wave offerings. We got all kinds of offerings that mean something to the Almighty, you understand? You know, and it's so powerful that he smells the sweet savor, you understand? You understand how it's cooked on the you know, how it's cooked and everything, and he'll smell it, you understand? And that right there alone, you understand, is giving praise and honor to our God, you understand, for the things that he allows to happen, you understand, like he gives us rain in our season, you understand, he makes so that our crops could flourish, you understand, you know, so it's a way of life that we're talking about here. Hallelujah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. I got one more I want you to hear. And this is another one that's going to come up out of nowhere, but I want you to check him out, and we're going to ask what you guys think, and we'll go from there. Here we go. I guess we're going. Are we going? Hello? Hold on. Let me do this again. Here we go.
All right. So for the Hebrew, the Bible says,
on TV say, how they going to be jealous? No. The only way the nation can be jealous
Is if while the other nations bless, this nation is cursed. Hey! And in that cursed, low position, we would look up and say, oh, no. It ain't going down like that. Hey! We're going to start beseeching, supplicating, and praying. Hey, God. And it would provoke us to jealousy. Listen. In 12, now if the fall of them be the riches of the world, and the diminishing of the true people be the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fullness, God said it. He said, y'all not understanding. He said when they fell and they diminished and they became low and nothing, they became the tail and not the head. Them becoming nothing bless the world. It blessed it with salvation, it blessed it with prosperity, it blessed it with governments and mercy, and it just blessed the world. And Paul is saying, if you think the world is blessed now, and the people are at the bottom and can't contribute to that blessing, he said, if you think the world blessed now, when they diminished, when they began to rise up, when they began to say we know God, when they began to say to us what's committed, the oracles of God, when they began to say you can't know him like we know him, when they begin to rise up and take their proper place. You see, the rest of the Gentiles don't know how to handle the Ashkenazi. The rest of the world, the Caucasians and the rest of the Gentiles, they don't know how to handle the Ashkenazi. They can't see through, amen, the tactics. Amen. You see, but the Hebrews, we've been a long time with our God. You understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about from Abraham, from Isaac, from Jacob. I'm talking about in Egypt, in slavery in Egypt. You understand what I'm saying? To living in Goshen, all right? Being brought out into the promised land. That's how long we've been with him. Well, we observe him split seas and rain bread from heaven. Move in and armies scatter when we come through, amen. We done watch the walls come down in Jericho. Hey, God, we done already possessed a land, amen. We've been through all that. We've been through King David, and we've been through all the different kings. We done been through with him a long time. You know what I'm saying? All the way to the place where we forsook him. Turn our back upon him. Know how it is to go back into slavery, oppression, to be a stranger in a land that's not our own. And you see, when you're in relationship with God in the good times, but also in the bad times. When you know, God, the power of his resurrection, but you also understand the fellowship of his suffering, it teaches you some things. Amen.
All right, Brother Donia, that's another one. You know, and I'm just telling you, like I said, they sounding good, and the Most High is opening up their eyes, but guess what? We got to get ready to go home, and as they begin to open up their eyes and their understanding, they know the Most High going to unction them on out because they got to come out. In order for us to go home, we got to come out. But the fact that the Most High is doing this is him doing this. Woo! It's some powerful stuff jumping off. I'm telling you. I am telling you, it's some powerful stuff jumping off up in here. And we know they with the Muslims because he said you was going to be made to serve other gods of wood and of stone. And we know they with the Christians because that's where they are. The majority of them is between those two religions. And the Most High waking them up while they yet sit in it. He's going to wake you up while you in there, and then I'm going to show you while you in there why you got to come out. Because you got to come out. Some powerful stuff jumping. I'm telling you. It's some powerful stuff jumping off. Yah's word will not come back void. it's going to accomplish what it set out to accomplish. And what we have to do is get prepared for the overflow, because these people are beginning to wake up. They're searching around. They're looking. They're listening to the teaching. And believe me, it don't just stop with the pastor teaching them, because mostly everybody got a computer, and they all over the internet looking for teaching and searching and looking, and what do we do next, and how do we do? Watch what happens. I'm telling you. This thing getting ready to blow up. It really is getting ready to blow up beyond compare, to the point where we got to get prepared for everything.
That is correct. We have to prepare our mind, our soul, and our bodies. You understand? So that when we get ready, when the Almighty calls us out of this place, you understand, we won't be stumbling all over ourselves. We will have that. We will be ready to go, you understand, mentally, physically, and morally, you understand, and that's a major thing that has to be understood, is that we got to prepare ourselves, you understand. That now, you know, a lot of our brothers and sisters are talking about we need to go over here, we need to go over there, and now I do understand that our safe haven that the Almighty has set aside for us is in the Middle East. You understand? But I'm not sure whether we're supposed to leave out of here, and go to the Middle East at this particular juncture. I think that myself, you understand, I think that the Almighty will give us the sign when we're supposed to move out. You understand? When we're supposed to go, or when we can expect to because it's all a process.
Oh, absolutely, no question. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, to get to this point right here, and to get to the end of the 400 years the prophecy, it was all a process. We had to go through certain things. We had to do certain things. You understand? We had all kinds of leaders, man, that held us in check, just held us there. You understand? Before we had to move into the next portion of the process. You understand? Now we're in a process area. You understand? Now, you understand, it's the latter days. You understand? And I can tell, I tell the latter days by the signs that the Almighty, signs and wonders that He has to put, that He has put in place, so that we can recognize when when He's going to show up and when He's going to bring about that judgment. You understand? For me, you understand, He said that he was going to hasten the days quickly.
Yeah.
And boy, y'all running into one another now. You understand? You know, yeah. I got confused 1 week. You understand? I couldn't tell whether it was Saturday or Friday.
I know it. Friday rolled around so quick this week. I was like, it was just Friday a few days ago.
No, that's right. You understand?
I know.
You know, one of the signs that the Almighty said that He was going to do. You understand? Now, a lot of us have said, early on, maybe a year ago or about 2 years ago, you understand, that they were talking about the blood moon. You understand? Now, the blood moon is supposed to be one of the signs that He's going to show. You understand, that the blood moon and the sun, you understand, and the stars will dim and etc. Those signs right there will be seen amongst all Israel. We will, not just in Israel, but we all going to understand and see those signs. It would be fruitless for it just to happen in one area, you understand, and we have to go for what somebody else says. We have to be wakened up, you understand, to understand that that's the sign. Just like these days that are hastening, you understand? Everybody understand that. Everybody know that. You understand? They feel it so that's why the sun and the moon turning blood red, that will be seen amongst all Yisrael and throughout the four corners of the earth, for sure. You understand? Because it has to be known. When He's going to show up, He said He's going to make these things happen so that you'll know when He's on His way.
Yes, hallelujah. Praise the mighty. I'm ready. And I know we all want to rush it, and we want it to happen right now, but we got to go. We got to stand the test. We got to go through the process of the thing. But the fact is, believe it or not, that people are beginning to wake up. And I have so many people to call me to say, what do I do? My mother ain't waking up, and she just ain't getting it, and my father ain't getting it, and my family members ain't getting it, and they good people. I don't want to see them left. I don't want to see them lost. And I have to tell them, I said, just like he woke you up, he'll wake them up too. But there's a difference between the multitude and the elect and the very elect. So consider yourself to be blessed that you woke up at this time and that you didn't have to wait till almost close to the end to be awakened. So as he begins to move us toward that direction, he's going to give everybody the opportunity to know who they are. They're not going to skip away. Everybody's going to have an opportunity to choose.
That is correct. Absolutely correct. You understand? We got to understand the people that we dealing with. We dealing with last moment folk. Last minute. You understand? Last minute is good for the club because you get in there and everybody see you make your grand entrance. But it might not be good, you understand, when it comes to us being chosen to go into that land. You understand? Because he's dealing with the heart here. You understand? And so all of a sudden, you understand, 2 days before, you understand, the Almighty bring his great wrath on this place, you get it. You understand? He ain't seen none of your heart, how dedicated you are. You understand? So, that's just my assertion. I don't know that to be fact, but it just appears to me that we know that he deals with the heart. You understand? Your dedication, your sincerity. You understand? So, like I love my peoples, I love my brothers and my sisters, and even the ones, you understand, that I know that are very good people. They worked out their society. They worked in this society. You understand, for 40, 50 years. You understand? They're good. They did right in the eyes of the Almighty from their perspective. You understand? And I hate for them to not to make it. Maybe I won't make it. You understand? Because of my indiscretions. You understand? I've done some indiscretions that I'm trying to work on right now. You understand? And I've been working on them for at least 35 years. You understand?
I know.
Because when
I know. Man, I'm telling you. Woo, I know.
As soon as I think that I got rid of one, another one pop up.
Mm-hmm. I know.
But I have to, you understand. It's a struggle because all we know is this captivity and the captivities that we've been in. We don't know nothing about being free of this kind of society. All we know is this society. You understand? And so it's a difficult thing to put all your eggs in one basket and don't know anything about what the basket is going to produce. You understand? But we must trust in the Almighty. You understand? That's why we read the scriptures to let everybody know that, you understand, from what he had done for our ancient forefathers. You understand, and give us an opportunity to maybe make a change in our life and pray that he do the same thing for us. You understand? Bring us back into the land flowing with milk and honey. You understand? That's to show you how rich the land is going to be. You understand? And it's going to be rich. He's going to bring it all back. You understand? He's going to make it right. You understand? I know it's not in our wildest dreams could we think about how that's going to happen. We got to just let it happen and trust that I trust that the Almighty is going to do what he say he's going to do. You understand? I trust that you understand? I just want to be a part of it. You understand? I don't want to miss.
Me too. I don't want to miss nothing. I don't want to miss nothing. I want to see it all and be in good health as I see it all, and be able to walk the destination and walk the journey like everybody else and get there. Because healing is going to be there. Everything going to be there. The food going to be there. Deprogramming is going to be there. Detoxification going to be there. Food going to be there. We going to gain new knowledge, it's just going to be a whole new experience. But most of all, y'all going to be there. Who wouldn't want to be where y'all is? Even if you do have to sleep on the ground. I sleep on the ground just so long as y'all there.
I understand. I don't have no problem with it. You understand? I know that the Almighty is going to take care of. He's going to take care of us relentlessly, regardless, in spite of ourselves.
Yes. And we made it through this. Let me play one more for you, and we're gonna sign off after this. We got a few more minutes. I want you to hear what the other nation's saying. Here we go.
20 in the year 1619 historically marks the early planting of the seeds of the American slave trade. Although American slavery was not a known institution at that time, this group of Africans were the first to go on record to be sold as involuntary laborers. That was August 20th of 1619. Add 400 to that. We are looking at 2019 will mark 400 years. And that's why I bring this message now to my black brothers and sisters that there is hope for you. Your oppressiveness and you being under the control and the hands of white America is coming to an end because your 400 years will be up in 2019. And I believe that you are direct descendants of Abraham. You are God's chosen people. And I understand that you're frustrated right now because President Obama came in office and it seems like things have only gotten more and more rough for you. But now I want to bring you into Exodus chapter 5. And I want to remind you that when Moses and Aaron went and spoke to Pharaoh and commanded and demanded him to let his people go, how did Pharaoh respond? Well, this is how he responded. In Exodus chapter 5, verse 6, it says, that same day Pharaoh sent this order to the Egyptian slave drivers and the Israelite foremen. Do not supply any more straw for making bricks. Make the people, make the slaves get it themselves, but still require them to make the same number of bricks as before. Don't reduce the quota. They are lazy. That's why they are crying out, let us go and offer sacrifices to our God. But load them down with more work. Make them sweat. That will teach them to listen to lies. President Obama was in office asking the government or Pharaoh to let you go. But they rejected him. They did to him what the Pharaoh did to Moses. And because of that, they turned up the heat. That's why the racism that we see now isn't new. It's just forming because you, as God's people, are starting to say, let us go. And we, as white men, are refusing to do so. Therefore, we must put into power a man that will protect us so we can remain in control. But however, if you continue to read in Exodus chapter 5 and then go into Exodus chapter 6, then the Lord told Moses, now you will see that I will do to Pharaoh. When he feels the force of my strong hand, he will let my people go. In fact, he will force them to leave his land. Therefore, now I say this to you, my black brothers and sisters. Therefore, God said, say to the people of Israel, I am the Lord. I will free you from your oppression, and I will rescue you from your slavery in Egypt, your slavery here in America. I will redeem you with a powerful arm and great acts of judgment. I will claim you as my own people, and I will be your God. Then you will know that I am the Lord your God, who has freed you from your oppression in Egypt, from your oppression in America. And I will bring you into the land I swore to give Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I will give it to you as your very own possession. I am the Lord. Today might be seen like gloom and doom for you, my black brothers and sisters. But greater than the Pharaoh is a God that has chosen you as his people, as direct descendants from Abraham. Your 400 years is coming to an end. Your oppression is coming to an end. Your freedom is on the brink. So what do? You start to get your lives in worshiping God. You return to your God. You dedicate your lives to him. You seek his face and watch him do the rest. So to my Facebook families and friends, some of this might be a lot for you to take in, because we as white Christians have never taught you this truth. In fact, we have kept it from you to keep you from knowing who you really are. But God is about to bring judgment, and the tables are about to turn. And you, my black brothers and sisters, are about to be released and be given what God has promised you. So I want you to hold on, my black brothers and sisters in America and across the world, and I want you to know that your God is about to move his mighty hand and show you that he has not forgotten about you, that he's heard your cries, and your deliverance is nigh.
It is. Can't say it no better. I mean, you can't. It don't even get no. When the enemy say that, and he leaves somebody to testify that from the oppressor, it don't get no better than that. I couldn't have said it no better than that myself. It's almost over. That's what we've been trying to tell everybody. We've been trying to get everybody to understand this thing is almost over. Once we serve our sentence, this thing is over. The oppression is going to be tight. They're going to be upset. They're going to be mad. But when because we're not serving the white man with this curse that we put on us was from Yah. This has nothing to do with the people of the other nations. He just put us here among them for us to be oppressed. But once we serve a sentence with him, it's a done deal. It's a wrap. It is a wrap, and they know it, and that's why I played it for you to understand that as much as me and Brother Adoniah talk and everybody else talks on this line, they know it too. They know it. The whole world is going to wake up to the fact that we are the people and we coming out of this thing. It's powerful. Brother Donnie, I didn't know your mic was off. It's powerful to be able to let the oppressor tell you that it's almost over with. That's it.
Almighty is powerful beyond compare, and he, you understand. In case you didn't hear what we had to say, there it is.
Hey, Brother Donnie, it don't get no plainer than that. I mean, it just doesn't. I wish we could add some more to it, but he said it all. He said it all. He said it's over. It has come to, it's coming to an end. He gave you the history and told you what's going to happen. For you all that ain't preparing, I don't know what else to tell you, because some of you be on here every week. I hope that you're preparing and getting ready.
Right. Absolutely.
Wow, ain't that something?
Yeah, that was powerful coming from the European. You understand? But like I said, man, they got to be witnesses. They're gonna have to tell the story the way it is. You understand? That he is our true and living Elohim, and before him there is. You understand? And so it's becoming very apparent.
What they say, the handwriting is on the wall. It's on the wall. It's on the wall. It don't get no plainer than that. And when they start telling it, you know we at the end. Ooh-wee.
And I know that, I know it's strange and everything, because it's hard to accept something that you never expected. You understand? You thought that you was going to live out this life here, you understand, under the same and normal conditions that you've been living under. But this is only a punishment for us.
Yes,
you got to understand.
Yes, it is.
This is a punishment, you understand, because of our disobedience. You understand? See, we did not just stop doing the law, but we, what was that in Jeremiah where they told Jeremiah, man, listen, you understand, we going into captivity and we going to do this thing, you understand, the way we want it.
He sure did.
That was a slap in the face to the Almighty Yah.
He got us back good, didn't he, Brother Donier? He got us back good, didn't he? Boy. He got us back real good. I mean, real good. He got us back for real to the point where when we do leave here, like you said, we'll never do this no more. We'll look back on all that mess, BET and hip-hop and living in Atlanta hip-hop. We'll look at all that mess and say, we don't want no part of that, never, ever again. That's what y'all made up in the land of sin, because that's all America is a land of sin.
Absolutely. You understand? The whole earth has been given over to the hand of the evil ones.
Ooh-wee.
You ever notice how what they do? They make you think you getting something, and you wind up getting nothing. You understand?
No.
Every year we run down every 4 years we run up to the president's house. You understand? And beg him for the crumbs from the table.
Yep.
You understand? And once we get those little crumbs from the table, he take back half of them.
Yeah, well, wait a minute. While you biting into it, he snatched the cake out your mouth like that's all you gonna get. He said that's all you gonna get. You can't have no more. We see you standing there with your hand frozen in position and ain't no cake in it no more. Wonder what happened. He done took it back. But guess what? We won't have to deal with that no more. We won't have to deal with that no more.
That happens every 4 years. It's happened in this 4 years. We had 100 preachers come up to Donald Trump and beg him for what he gonna do for us. You understand? So far, I ain't heard him say nothing about the doing anything for us. They had the HBCU. Those black colleges, you understand? Mm-hmm. They was all asking him, he said, yeah, blah, 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 he's going to do it. But he ain't even got a budget now. and when he did bring up his proposal, there was nothing in there for the HBCUs. Come on. They make us think we getting something and we ain't getting nothing. You know what I'm saying? But it's all gonna change, man.
Yes, sir. Man, can you imagine? This is amazing. This is, Brother Donier, this is just absolutely amazing. It is just it's jaw-dropping amazing to the point where this word is manifesting itself right before our eyes.
That is absolutely correct. And how did you ever think that it would happen in your day?
No, and no.
We got a year, 2 years left. 2 years. I heard a man on the news saying, black man. You understand? I think he was a news commentator. He said that in order for them to impeach Bush, it's going to take them till 2019.
Praise Yah. What'd you say, Brother Donier? Praise Yah. Hallelujah.
Because look what they got to go through. They first got to come up with the the reasons why they want to impeach him. Then it's got to go to the Congress. You understand? And Congress, you know, they all over the place. They got conservatives and then they got the Republicans. Then they got the conservative Republicans. So and they at odds with one another. So that they got to get on the board with it. You understand? And that's gonna take some time. All next year for sure. You understand? This year right here is already pretty much over. You understand? And so all next year they're gonna be batting it back and forth, blah blah blah. You understand what I'm saying? And then 2019 gonna show up.
Yes,
you understand? And I've always said that this guy is the modern day Pharaoh. You understand? His countenance is the same as the Pharaoh of ancient times. And he got all of these. You should hear these guys, man, that he got on his in his cabinet, man. You understand? His supporters. You understand? You should hear what they say. They can't see the truth if it was standing on them.
They ain't supposed to. They ain't supposed to. Let them keep doing what they doing.
You hear what they saying? I'm talking about, and so they got to get around all of this stuff, man. You understand? And he said it ain't gonna happen until 2019.
Praise Yah. Praise the mighty Yah. Everybody better start everybody's better start getting their minds right and getting ready, you know what I'm saying? Because once that curse is over, our situation is going to change. Our mindset is going to change. I really do believe that. So we got to start getting prepared because I had to play it for you. We did the Muslims last week. We did the Christians this week. So everybody know that this thing is spreading faster and far beyond the Hebrew Israelites. The Most High is getting ready to wake up his people. And they just getting the prelude of it because we got to get everything put in place now. Please get ready. I mean, don't worry about your family being awakened. They going to come. But whatever it is that he has you doing, please be about doing it so we can get out of here. Because if you're thinking about staying, you worried about these houses, these cars, and these jobs, honey, leave all that mess when the time comes. Because it's going to be destroyed anyway. And I do not want to be destroyed with the heathen. I'm not going out like that.
Oh, that's right. Let me sing this little song. I'm not going to sing the whole thing. I just wanted to let you know this is what they sang when I was involved with a camp. He said,
all right, go for it, brother, don't it?
Jerusalem, 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 land where our fathers served the Lord. That's all I wanted to say.
All right. You ain't going to sing no more? Give us some more. Geez, that's it?
I don't know the whole. I got to read it from the book. I'm just singing from off
All right. You said the land where our fathers served the Lord. I like that little song. I like that. That's all right because we're on our way back. Can you imagine? It ain't going to be a dry eye in the place. Everybody going to be crying. Everybody going to be crying, young and old, to get the heck up out of here. And he getting ready to restore our wealth back to us too. Please, we out of here. They can have it. We ain't mad at nobody. We don't hate nobody. We out of here when the time comes. You know, I look around at all the Mexicans today. It's a lot of Mexicans in this city. And you know, my uncle told me something. He said, have you noticed how the Mexicans are migrating in? They bringing them in. I said, yeah, it seems like it's a lot. He said, because they know we leaving. Somebody got to do what we was doing. I was like, wow. You know, I just didn't think about it.
Yeah, I said that a long time ago. I remember when you used to see all of these lawn crews, people with their own lawn business. One of them was black. Now you can't find one that's black.
I know. I know. He said because they know that we're getting ready to leave here, and somebody's got to pick up and do the work that we used to do. And we contribute a lot. We contribute a lot of the jobs that nobody else wants. So, Brother Donnie, I guess what? We coming down to the last couple of minutes of the show. Why don't you sing that song for us one more time so we can just send it on out, and then we'll see everybody Tuesday night.
Jerusalem, 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 land where our fathers served the Lord.
All right, there we go. Look forward to going home, everybody. We like to say we love you and shalom, shalom. We'll see you Tuesday night at 6:30 p.m. Call a family member or a church member and invite them to the show. Shalom, shalom, everybody. Thanks, Brother Adonai. I'll see you next week.